we got 2 people weighing in. Actually, we got 3 people weighing in. We got me as well. I'm weighing in on the Trump disposition, but also Jordan Peterson has chosen to, as well as James O'Keefe. Big man O'Keefe, you know how that goes. And the Trump disposition, if you don't know, it was released 22 hours ago, maybe 23 hours ago by now. And it was done in October, so about 8 months ago. This was done, October 19th, I believe. So this was just released, and I think the reason that it was released is because this is an attempt to just discredit him as much as possible. Discredit, disgrace, leave a bad taste in people's mouth about him, because, as we all know, the election's coming up. They don't want him to do well in the election. This is my thinking. Maybe the powers that be decided that it's time for us, the public, to have the truth. Maybe they've turned a new leaf and they just want the truth for us. But I think it's because of the election. I think that's what's going on. I think with Trump's, with his rating, which I think is in like the 60s, which is wild. And then, Biden now getting percentage taken away from him in terms of people who want to see RFK versus Biden. Biden's percentage is going down big time as people start getting wind of RFK and everything that he's about, because he's amazing. It seems like Trump is going to be the next president of the United States. So it seems like they're doing everything in their power to stop that from happening. When he first became president, Donald Trump, they thought it was a big joke. When he was running, they thought it was a joke. They thought they could just shoo him away. They didn't realize what a force he was going to be when it came to people actually voting. And this time, they're very aware of that, and they're going their hardest to make sure that we, the people, see him as a demon with horns coming out of his head, and he's trying to grab women by the whole line. They're trying to bring all of that back into our minds, because there's nothing else to really talk about. There's nothing current about him to bring up. But before I get into the clips, I have to go to our sponsor. It's the only company that will touch this podcast, my own. And we got hoodies. You guys know how it is. Sold not for sale. We got the hoodies. We got the shirts. We got the t-shirts. We got the women's V-neck t-shirts. And we have mugs. Absolutely amazing products here, guys. Every single purchase. We also got the anti-WEF, and I'm about to release a new anti-WEF design very, very soon. Been working on something. Nothing crazy, but just, something that's a little more, I want to use the word derogatory. That was the first word that came to mind. But yeah, every single purchase helps us tremendously. You have no idea. They limit our revenue. They straight up take monetization off of videos sometimes. There's no explanation why. I'm fully aware that this was going to happen when I chose to talk about topics like the topics that I talk about. So I'm not shocked by it, and I'm not mad about it. YouTube's a company. They're a company. They're private. It's cool. I'm going to weather the storm. Some people think I'm shadow banned, and I'm starting to maybe think the same thing, and it's all good. Just keep posting, keep going, keep going, keep going. Nothing is going to stop me from doing this. I told myself 3 months ago when I had 168 subscribers that I was going to dedicate myself to uploading multiple videos every day, and I'm just doing it. And we'll see where I am in a year. We'll see. But other than that, guys, let's get into the clips. There they are. Let's go. This is the first clip. Again, it's from the disposition. I'm not sure about the timestamp of the disposition, but this is one of the clips that's circulating the most amongst the people. Let's get into it. Turn that off. Turn this.
In this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
And you.
So basically, again, they're just trying to this, and I really do think That's why, like, I'm getting this clip from something called Republican Accountability. And I really do think, again, they're trying to bring that moment in time back. They're really pushing so you remember, like, you remember when he said that. You remember that he's that guy. They're trying to bring that back into people's minds, you know? And like, because it seems like something that's been forgotten. But, you know, we're not all Joe Biden. We don't just forget things randomly and just ask for chocolate chip ice cream all the time. We remember things. And the fact of the matter is, most people who are for this gentleman don't care about that situation. They don't care about that wording. I mean, honestly, it was much like what happened with Tucker. He got caught, you know, like he was literally talking to somebody off record, I want to say off mic, but, you know, not realizing that this was going to be recorded and going to be brought up, you know, when he tries to, you know, run for president. He just didn't realize. He thought he was talking to a regular person. He thought he was talking one-on-one with somebody. Turns out that person, whoever that person is, decided to release it. And now we have what we have. But let's go to another clip. Oh, right before that, let's go up here, show you guys again. So this was actually Jordan Peterson's take on it, which I really do agree with. One thing you can certainly say about Trump is he is never falsely apologetic. And it's so true. He is never falsely apologetic, ever. He is just who he is. He's just straight up about it. He's like, yeah, I said that. And yeah, it's true. Like, did not shy away from it. Did not back down from it. And you gotta have you gotta give some kind of credit to somebody who's like that, you know? I really do think so. It's the same. Well, I want to say it's the same thing with Tucker, like I said before, but we haven't heard Tucker's response to everything that's been released about him. He's been taking the very silent road, and I think that's a good thing for Tucker. I can't wait to see him come back. And I'm sure when he addresses that stuff, he's just going to laugh about it, honestly. And I'm working on a video right now. I found a clip of Tucker talking about it. It kind of plays into the things that he said. And when it comes to opinions, and I'll go over it soon. But let's go to the next clip. Here it is. Mr. Trump again. Mr. Big 4-5 again. Here, let's hear this one.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall. I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it. I would not have any interest in.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first...
Listen, I have all the respect in the world for women. Like, my mom's a woman, obviously. I mean, you got to kind of clarify that nowadays. My wife's a woman. Got to clarify that too type these days, you know? But that is really funny. I can't like, I'm sorry if that's something you're just like, I don't like that he said that. But that's just like, he's a guy. He said that. He didn't know he'd be in front of every woman in America having to explain it. He was saying it to one person. Do you know what kind of things you yourself say to one person, one-on-one, someone who you think you can actually talk to on a level? What kind of things do you say? I know what kind of things I say. I hang out with comedians. I hang out with people who have had really rough backgrounds and upbringings. We say a bunch of stuff. We say all sorts of stuff. It's like the early 90s when we talk. And those of you who grew up in the early 90s know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just saying. Oh, and then I'll go back to say what James O'Keefe weighed in on, which is very, very true. And it kind of speaks to the way Trump is presenting himself in this disposition. Very rare for defendants in dispositions to go on the offensive while in the disposition. I've been in many drops, and the entire point of lawfare is to intimidate, shut you up, and shut you down. If you've done something wrong, then admit it. If you're falsely accused, show no fear. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. We're really well said by James O'Keefe. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a Trump who's just, it seems like he's just like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, he's explaining everything they throw at him. He's like, this is what I meant by that. What do you want from me? Because at the same time, you know, it's so funny because people on the left, and when I say, I shouldn't say people on the left, I'll say mainstream media, which is pretty much the same thing. But mainstream media, a lot of mainstream journalists, MSNBC, ABC, they will discredit people who do gotcha journalism. You know, oh, that gotcha stuff, that's so immature. But then at the same time, when they have somebody that they want to demonize, they do that kind of stuff all day. They got no problem doing that to people. They're doing, that's exactly what this thing is. You said this at this time, and you didn't know anybody was recording you, and it just randomly. So what do you have to say about it? He's just answering, you know? And it's funny because the way that they have them, speaking of James O'Keefe, so many times they look down on what James O'Keefe does in terms of his way of journalism, and yet they're doing the exact same thing, and they're just like, see, look, the world, look. It's really interesting to see, because when James O'Keefe does that, they're just like, oh, out of context, can't believe he would do that to somebody, completely out of context. No, they didn't know they were being recorded. No, this person said that they were lying. Like, it's ridiculous. They do the exact same things and expect to be, they demonize the way that James O'Keefe or the way that Trump is talking. They demonize that. But at the same time, when they do it in terms of the gotcha journalism, they want to be held on some pedestal. Like, look, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. You know, like, we got him, guys. We proved our point. This guy, bad man, orange, you know? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know. But those are the clips that are going on. I'm going to go through the rest of the disposition. It's about 48 minutes long. There's not going to be anything discovered, but it will be interesting because I've never watched one in full. I have to be honest. I actually did watch one. It was Lil Wayne's. He did one years ago when he was going to jail for some years. It was very interesting. Very interesting to listen to. It'll be very interesting to listen to Trump's as well. This disposition really has nothing to do with what's currently going on with Trump at all. I really do think that this is just their way of a smear campaign. They're literally doing the exact same thing to Tucker. The only difference is they don't have a case on Tucker. Like, if they had Tucker in a case, they would sit him down in disposition. They do the exact same thing. They'd be like, you said in this text message, you said this. When you were on live, when you were being recorded, and you didn't realize when you were on air, or when you knew you weren't on air, you were being recorded, and you said this. Can you explain this? Can you explain that? They would do the exact same thing to him. They just don't have any kind of case with him. That's the only difference between him and Trump right now. So, I don't know. I'll listen to it. If I find anything new, or anything that we didn't know, or anything that seems super interesting or like eye-opening, I'll let you guys know, but I don't think there's going to be anything. This is just the simple tactic that they always do. We don't like you. We are going to bring up your most sexist moments, your most misogynistic moments. We're going to hold them on a pedestal, and we're going to hope the whole nation is just willing to demonize you and put you on the cross. Like, that's basically what they're trying to do. But other than that, guys, the code. I told you there'd be a code, didn't I? Free Ship USA. For those of you in the USA who want free shipping on your products that you order from our site. And for the 10% off, I am Coach Colin. You just got to put that in. And for those of you who just heard what, you can put both of those codes in and you'll get both. You'll get 10% off and you'll get free shipping. Now, I just want to say one thing with the website before I go. We're having issues with PayPal. I have to be honest, ever since PayPal did that thing where they wanted to take $2,500 from anybody who spread misinformation, I've never been a fan of that company since they've done that. And also before that, I wasn't a fan of them because they kept locking my account randomly. They've done the same thing to my wife. I don't know what's going on or why it's going on. Maybe it has something to do with misinformation of the site or of the channel. I have no idea. But we're trying to work it out. So if you see that PayPal's not an option, we do apologize. We're trying to get that back online as soon as possible. And that's it. I'm out.